Season 3, Week 1. Today we have Seattle Senpais versus Neptune. I am Fralgatron, and today I am joined by Sig9 from the Discord. PSN is it's cut over, right? Yeah.
Yes, Cova Country 5. Hello everyone. I am of the man they call Sig9.
And both teams are ready to go, so let's get right into this. Now, we were talking about this a little bit on the podcast, but both these teams are comprised of, like, the remnants of two former teams from OLOC. So, Yigs last week was saying that she hopes this is going to be actually a pretty decent rivalry.
I mean, it's going to be very interesting to see how these two teams play. We are seeing a lot of, I guess you could say, known players. Obviously, like you said, with the two teams being merged, it's going to be interesting to see how each sort of team comes together and plays, how well they play. And I'm expecting big things from both of these teams, some nice plays to come out. Also, we're starting on Sanctum as our first point on Busan. It's our first map. So, I think we're going to obviously see the double shield. If we don't, I will be surprised. But we never know. Ball coming out from Neptune.
We are going to see the double shield come out from Seattle.
Yeah, as predicted. Obviously, you just can't beat that. But the ball and Orisa coming out from Neptune.
Now, that's actually interesting. Ball is really going to be able to put some pressure, though, on to Seattle, I think.
He's going to definitely put a lot of pressure on, but obviously with that May being existent from Seattle, it's going to be hard for him to get any value whatsoever. So it's going to be interesting to see how he sort of plays around this. Obviously, Ike's going to have to play extremely passive against that May if he wants any value.
Looks like Seattle is going to be the first ones to get to the point.
There'll be the cocoon of the May already coming out. There'll be a wall up, the Reaper will get frozen. And the team will have to start to push back. It's not looking like Seattle will hold much ground. There'll be a boot coming out from the Hammond. And that'll be Goldspeed with a kill on the Yiggsy. And that will mean that Neptune now have to push out. There'll be the freeze and the wall coming out. And that'll be Ike going down from Overhaul. And that will be Immo coming out. And that'll be Taz getting the kill on the CMBT. And that'll be Deathbound. Goldspeed will get a kill on the Poggy. I mean, Deathbound. And then Poggy will get taken out by Calzo. And it's looking like Seattle will keep the point. Right there.
And the biggest thing with that was the utilization of this May. Like, May was part of so many picks there. She, just that ability to freeze and really just slow people down is what's really making, like, big movements here for
There'll be a
Seattle.
rock hitting Deathbound right there. Taz also getting stunned by the Sigma of Neptune. Neptune playing really aggressively, trying to get the ground they need. But it looks like they're going to struggle with that May still existing. Obviously, the Sigma pick, though, coming out. Teams now coming from the midsection. I'll be Gorty with a kill on the Poggy. I'll slow them down. And I'll be Zai with a kill on the CMBT. But however, Yiggsy will raise Poggy Woggy. Ball coming out right there. And I'll be the Immo going down. And I'll be Zaya getting a kill on the Deathbound. And I'll be Cal Mods with a kill on the Yiggsy. And I don't even know how to pronounce that name, Crid. And I'll be Overhaul cleaning up all the kill on the Pogsy. I'll be Cal Modes again getting a kill on the Ike. That Baptiste getting a lot of value for Seattle right there.
It's just looking like Seattle has so much synergy. They know exactly who they want to target, and they're making sure that person falls before they move on to the next target, which is something I've noticed that sometimes teams tend to struggle with this.
That'll be the male coming out, and that'll be also the Immo going down, and that will be Nature with a kill to CMBT, and that will mean that Neptune are now having to fall back into spawn as Seattle keep pushing them as Goldspeed gets a kill on the Crid right there. And the pressure will keep getting applied, and it looks like Seattle will be continually to push the spawn. Pull coming in, and Neptune's looking like they're going to try and gain more ground. Seattle having to push back a little bit with the rocking hit onto Taz. Neptune looking like they're going to have to push with only 80, with 89%, only 10% left to go. They have to start pushing in. That'll be the wall coming in. However, the Orisa and the Baptiste will slip through as the Immo does go down. That'll be the Bongos coming out from Seattle. That'll be Neptune's all, however, and that'll be Overhaul with a kill on the CMBT. As Sigma touches the point, Cal Mode will take out the Sigma, and that'll be Goldspeed with a kill on the Poggy Woggy. And it's not looking good for Neptune right here as the attack visor comes out. We'll get a kill on the Goldspeed, but Cal will get taken out. Cal will go down. We'll get a kill onto Crid. I do apologize. I keep stuttering right there.
Now, I do want to make a point. The person you keep on CMBT Their name
Yeah.
is Combat.
Is it?
Yeah. Originally they were known as Combat Mercy, and then they changed it to just CMBT. But it's Combat.
I'm trying not to say the wrong thing, so I just say CMBT.
I respect it. I really do. We
Is
do.
that Ike, like Ike, or like
Ike. It's Ike.
Ike? God, these names.
Although it does fascinate me that we see Axcrate coming out onto the Mei. It looks like they're going to try and counter Seattle's Mei with their very own, like going more into the mirror composition. The only difference being the Reaper versus a Soldier.
Yeah, definitely. That will be, however, Neptune's shield's going down early. That will be Taz getting hit by the rock as he goes for the set. I mean, it's no shield for Seattle right there. Neptune very, really aggressive. There'll be a wall off. However, the walls will come back up together, and they'll all be playing together. Both Immortality's down right there. The multi-freeze on Mei will be coming in very, very valuable right there as Taz gets a kill on the Death Fan. Could this be, once again, Seattle getting a kill as Cal Mods gets a kill on the Ike, and that will be Taz also getting another kill on the Poggy Woggy. Nature now all left alone. That'll be Seattle getting the point and proceeding to take more percentage, and it's not looking good for Neptune right here.
And I've got to say, I don't think Seattle really had anybody on their team lose more than half their health. Like,
that wall will be huge, however, no value will come out. That'll be the freeze on the Yiggsy, but Yiggsy will get out with it. Immo gets placed. That'll be Sigma with a load of shield there as the Immo comes down from them, and that will be it as Ike, and Ike gets a kill onto Overhaul. And it's looking like Neptune might actually be bouncing back right here. The fight will break out on the point, and there'll be Taz getting frozen. There'll be CMBT getting a kill on Taz. And Seattle right now are so split up as the Mei is on her own on the point, and that'll be the coming out, trying to contest as long as they possibly can. And that will be it as Goldspeed is now trapped. Goldspeed will get frozen. However, the Immortality will come down from Calmods to save him. It's looking like Deathbound will get a kill on the Goldspeed. Calmods will be trying to touch as long as he possibly can with Zaya on the Soldier. That will be Deathbound with no kill on the Calmods, and that will be Crid with a kill on the Zaya. And that will be it as Neptune now capped the point for the first time in this map.
And I think what Neptune was doing there is they were starting to prioritize the tanks and making sure that if those tanks are gone, they're not going to have that much of a force anymore. So, and what was really big there is they kind of left the Mei for last, because the Mei without anybody else is kind of useless, other than just for a quick stall.
I'll be Neptune Sigma picking up full bar, the beat will come in, however the Mei will also freeze the backline. That'll also be Neptune. I mean, Seattle placing down that bongo, and that'll be Taz with a kill onto Defon with his Gravitic Flux, and that'll be Calmos with a kill on the Ike, and they just with a boob onto Crit. The Soldier will come out from Seattle, and that'll be Zaya with a kill on the Poggy Woggy. That'll be the Reaper gone, and Calmos will get a kill on the Combat right there. And that will mean that Seattle once again take back the point and assert dominance back onto Neptune.
Seattle definitely is showing quite dominant play right now. Like, they're just pushing in as a unit and making sure that the first person that they call out a target is falling.
Down with the point, and that'll be the rock coming out as they stop the Reaper. Or Poggy Woggy will get taken out by Nature Sword right there as the team stop him from doing the Death Blossom. That waste of that of the Amp Matrix might set Seattle aside right there as they do waste that ult. This is indeed the time for Neptune to start pushing as they have the Amp Matrix, they can do the damage. The Amp Matrix comes out for the Baptiste, and that'll be Overhaul getting a kill on the Crit. Will this slow down Neptune's push? The Immortality will come out, and the Reaper that'll be Combat with a kill on the Tasman. Zaya will answer back with a kill onto the Orisa, but Ike will answer back with a kill onto the Mei, and that'll be Goldstein getting taken out. Only 3 players left of Seattle on the point. However, they are on 99%, so they can afford to lose this fight. That'll be CMBT with a kill onto Overhaul, and right now they're just feeding ults. CMBT also takes out Calmods. That'll be a double kill for Combat. That'll be the Rock coming in, just looking like they're going for the contest. It's not really worth it. Those Poggy gets takes out Nature, so Nike gets a kill on the Zaya. And that'll be Neptune capturing the points.
And it looks like Combat especially is being one of the key players for Neptune right now. He's just pumping out so much healing, and also getting in those picks when they need it most. But it looks like
I mean, the damage from Baptiste is absolutely insane, and that will be once again Ike with the exact same play as they did last time. However, there'll be an answer back as a beat both drop from both teams. There'll also be the multi-freeze coming out. And now we go to with a kill onto Pokeball, going Overhaul with a double kill onto Ike and Nix, now also being Nature Soul taking out Deathbone, and Overhaul will also get another kill on the CMBT. And this is looking like Seattle will be taking the kick as they get a team kill as Overhaul does finish off Crid.
Seattle Senpais definitely proving that they are a player in this league right now. So much just push, like they just pushed so aggressively, and they knew exactly what they were doing. They were pushing in at just the right times, using their ults very effectively, and I gotta give it to those supports. Those supports are keeping them, the rest of the team, up so consistently that it's very hard for Neptune, it looks like, to really make any valuable push against them.
Definitely. I would say the key factor for Seattle winning right now is that Mei. That Mei is coming in so well from the Mei, knows exactly when to use her walls in the most vital times to ensure the victory for her team. That if that Mei wasn't in place for Seattle, I'm pretty sure Neptune might have a bit more of a chance of actually trying to take this. But Seattle with Overhaul and that Orisa doing an amazing play, Tazza helping that backline, getting that extra damages, and then the freeze coming out from the flanking Godspeed on the Mei is just what's saying that this team, and they're just ultimately destroying Neptune, just picking up those key targets and then just popping those ultimates at the right key times and just ultimately taking it and definitely getting a lot more charge. But however, what we've just seen is Seattle Senpais are obviously more dominant at taking and winning the fights. Now, we are going on to a payload map, which means winning and killing people is not the objective. It's about pushing the payload. So it's going to be interesting to see that now that the objective has changed and that both sides aren't equal, how Seattle Senpais will do against Neptune with an altercation within map.
Yeah, we're just waiting to see if there are going to be any swaps coming in. We do see another player coming in, which I believe they are on Neptune. It is Warrior Wolf, who is, I believe she's been with us for quite a while, actually. So it would be interesting to see if Neptune decides to put her into the game.
Yeah, definitely. Be interesting to see.
Chaotic is here. Sorry about the dead air, everybody. I'm just trying to get things set.
That's fine. It'll pick back up now when we get into the game.
And Warrior Wolf actually is coming in as I say that. She's coming in for Death Unbound. So we'll get to see some nice tank play from Warrior Wolf. That might be exactly what Neptune needs, actually. If I remember correctly, Warrior Wolf plays main tank quite powerfully. And we're also going to see a few other swaps. We're going to see a Bullet come in for combat. And we're going to see Chaotic coming in for Ike.
Okay, that's quite... Okay, I'm going to see how this goes. Because I'm going to say this Combat and Ike were actually some of the star players, in my opinion, on Neptune. They were definitely doing and getting a lot of value, especially Deathbound. I feel like they've definitely removed some of, if not some of, the best players that we saw from that round. But maybe they want to switch things up, see how this roster goes. Or maybe there's certain heroes they want to play that they know that Combat, Ike, and Deathbound can't play.
And it definitely might change some things up. I mean, you've completely changed your tank line. So, it's gonna... And Chaotic and Warrior, I believe they play together quite a bit. I mean, I don't play with them a lot, but... I believe they do play together quite a bit. So, their synergy might be exactly what Neptune needs right now to really make those plays against Seattle. But we also know that Seattle was very aggressive. And it's gonna be hard for Neptune, I think, to get over those support ability and the tanks coming out of Seattle. Both teams are ready to go, so let's go into our map number 2 of the series, Blizzard World.
It's gonna be interesting to see how teams adopt this map and adapt to it, especially coming from, as I said, a map that's all about getting those picks, getting those kills, and then proceeding to push, which we obviously know that Seattle was slightly better at doing compared to Neptune. That's what ultimately led to their victory. But now that there's an actual objective that they have to fight for more and play a lot more natural cover and all that sort of stuff. It'll be interesting to see how Neptune's deal with Seattle. Maybe they have a trick up their sleeve, and this is exactly what they wanted to do. Maybe throw in their tank lineup, and if things went south, they bring in an even stronger lineup so that Seattle weren't expecting this change in playstyle.
And very much so. And we are about to just see what comps they're going to be running. We are going to see double shield coming out from both sides. Barely cut and paste. We've been seeing this a lot. It's the current meta. But yeah, one thing that is interesting me is it looks like we're going to see a pharmacy coming out from Neptune.
Yeah, and what's interesting me is Godspeed on the Genji. On defense, like I understand on attack, maybe you want to get an early push and you wait for that Dragon Blade to come up and then you wipe. But on defense, that is really, really interesting and not something that you see all that often, especially in this level of play.
Especially not. But it's also like the Genji could do exactly what they need, getting that backline pressure onto these supports from Neptune. So it might be exactly what they're looking for.
Oh yeah, definitely. It might come in very, very useful. They got with those flanks. Nice rocks coming in, but however nothing will hit, and that'll be the rock coming out, and it'll hit the shields. Both Sigmas with no rocks here. Blade's just advancing, that'll be a nice pull coming in. Looking like Seattle are having trouble, and they're having to give off a lot of space so that Neptunes are getting a lot of ground, looking like they're going on the right-hand side. Neptune could get on the point right here, they have plenty of space, and albeit as the rock comes in, that'll be the Genji also going with a dash, and that'll be a nice pull, nice 5-man pull, and the rock will come in and equal it out. That'll be Chaotic taking out Cal Mode's thing, and that'll be Neptune with the first kill onto Overhaul. That'll be Crid taking the kill onto Overhaul. The Reaper in the backline also doing a lot of damage. That'll be Crid with another kill on the Zaya right there. That'll mean that the hit scan is now gone, which means now Crid has full responsibility to take on this point. That'll be probably with a kill, and that'll be Crid with another kill on the Cal Mod. Crid right now showing a lot of value in that pharmacy, and that'll be Chaotic Phoenix getting a kill onto Nature. And it's looking like Neptune's going to take this point. Godspeed now on the Genji trying to contest as much as he possibly can.
And I think what's the biggest thing here is there just wasn't enough pressure on Axcrid that she was just able to pop off and do what she needed to do. She even took out the counter Ashe that really just made all the space that she needed.
Definitely, but we are going to see the Genji Blade come out, so it'll be interesting to see how he utilises this, especially against this team. I'm expecting to maybe try and dash, like slice dash instantly into that pharmacy and try and take her out as immediately as he possibly can. But I don't know if we might see something like that, or if they might just try and go for the back line, something like the Baptiste, something like that. But obviously that Immortal does have to come out first before any of that actually happens.
Looks like Neptune's starting to push forward, trying to move that payload as far as they can. Bob gonna come out!
Coming in from Seattle, and now will be Zaya with a kill onto Crid. But however, Bob will get a kill. I mean, right, Warrior Wolf will kill Bob. And so looking good right here. Zaya gets a kill onto Chaotic, and now will be Taza with a kill onto Yiggsy. It's not looking good for Neptune, as Overhaul gets a kill on the Poggy Woggy. Genji now playing really aggressive Godspeed on that Genji.
And a good stabilize for Seattle too. And that Bob really disrupted some things, because I noticed they did pop their Pharah ult, but she got nothing out of it because there was just so much damage. The Bob was already on point, so Seattle knew Bob was going to contest as long as they needed to, so they could start putting attention onto Axcrid and making sure that Rocket Barrage doesn't get any use.
That will be a huge pull, but however, they will be countered with the thing, but however, Zaya gets a kill on the Chaotic. So it's looking like it might not be good enough, but however the res will come out from the Yiggsy onto Chaotic, so Neptune can carry on fighting, and that'll be the Dragon Blade coming out into the team. That'll be a pull, try and pull them all together, and that'll be Ghosty with a kill onto Bullets. And it's not looking like very well for Neptune. Even though they have the ult advantage, it's not looking good as Calmods gets a kill onto Poggy Woggy.
And
they're just collapsing onto Neptune right here. It's not looking good for them.
It might be time that Neptune might have to start thinking about swapping things up. We know now the Pharah isn't working as well as it used to be. She's starting to get pressured. Even though she is halfway to her ult, it's that Genji tried to get her with the end of that Dragon Blade and only swapped off that target because Blade had ended. Now we also see that Ashe has her ultimate once again, so it's I mean, Neptune does have the ult advantage currently, but it's still going to be very difficult for Neptune to start pushing in. There's just so much bodies here.
I'll be Poggy Woggy with a kill onto Godspeed. This could be it as the bongo comes out from Neptune. That'll also be Bob coming out, however, and Galmos will also take out that bongo, so there's no advantage for Neptune right now. Neptune 1 up though, and that'll be the Death Blossom coming in. Poggy Woggy with 3 kills, and Yixi also going to kill onto Bob. And I'll be finished clean up with a kill onto Taz. That is
And
absolutely
Neptune.
huge. Zaya getting knocked down, and looking like Chaotic will get a kill on Zaya. Neptune gaining ground once again and pushing
Neptune definitely using that ult advantage to their greatest advantage. Only looking like they used 2 ults in that altercation, being the Pharah Super or the Orisa Supercharger and the Reaper's Death Blossom. So really well done with these ults and making sure that people were dying in that Reaper flank.
Seattle, so will the Amp Matrix, double damage, and I'll be God with a kill on the 3 of them, there'll be 4 of them, God, there'll be 5 of them! That'll be an absolute insane kill for Godspeed as Zaya now cleans up with a team kill as he does finish off Crid. That Dragon Blade was absolutely huge from Godspeed going in, taking out 5 players from Neptune. Holy hell.
There's just not much to say, not much you can really do against a 5-man blade.
That was absolutely huge value. Godspeed, even though I did doubt his pick, he is showing that he is getting incredible value with Genji. And I eat my words.
As most of the time we do whenever we start to doubt some of these picks that people make.
That'll be Crid with a double kill. But we'll get taken now as Nature takes around, but Crid will also get a kill in the Nature, finishing him off. This is Neptune's time to push. It's not looking good for Seattle right here. Seattle looking like they say dominance for a little bit, but obviously the answer back from Neptune, a huge thing, but Godspeed contesting that point as long as he can. The Bob will also try and contest, waiting as long as time for Seattle, and I'll be Seattle with the gravitated flux, and I'll be Taz getting killed the bullet, and I'll be Cal will kill the chaotics. Not looking good for Neptune. Neptune with the advantage, however. That Bob held long enough, and I'll be Nature with a kill on the Poggy Woggy. And I'll be Ghosty with a kill also onto Warrior Wolf Girl. Obviously, what happened there was it's looking very good for Neptune, but the Bob came out holding it for a lot of time for Seattle to come out and pop their ults and ultimately take it back into their fight. It's not looking good right now for Neptune, but they could still answer back. Someone needs to go and touch the objective for them.
Neptune is, though, in dangerous one-fight territory with only 10 seconds left. If nobody can get to the point now, it's almost for sure in Seattle's favor currently. And this looks like it might just be where the payload's going to sit. Neptune, though, able to get there in just enough time.
And now be Zaya with a kill on the Warrior Wolf, and I'll be Ghosty popping the blade. Bullet will go down, but I hope Poggy Woggy will get a kill on Mods, and I'll be Zaya with a kill on the Poggy Woggy. Yixi will also get a kill on the Zaya. It's looking like it's even numbers right here as the brawl happens on the point. One more kill for Neptune, and they could potentially have this. As the switch goes on to Moira, it'll be Overhaul with a kill on the Chaotix. Now looking for Neptune, 1 down. The advantage is looking like it's in Seattle's favor, and I'll be Ghosty with a kill on the Crit. It's on the Genji, and I'll be Yixi also getting taken out by Gods. Godspeed showing up right here, doing his ultimate plays. Overall again taken out. Overall will get a kill onto Warrior Wolf, and that will be it as Seattle holds it. First point so close to capping that second point.
And so close they were, but just what Seattle was doing, they were making sure that they kept somebody behind Neptune. I mean, always those team fights become a huge cluster of bodies, but if you've got somebody behind that's laying in damage into somebody's back, it's going to be the game-changing piece, because you can't always predict where that person's going to be, and I think that's what the Genji was the biggest concern for, is it was being that constant nuisance, that thing that was just always there, being that very mobile character, popping in just a little bit of damage, making you turn around, and keeping your focus on away from where the big hitters actually were.
Yeah, definitely. I think what was an amazing play that we saw was the fact that Bob came out from Seattle to hold the point, contest that point from moving, so that the whole of Seattle could regroup, popping that Sigma ult from Seattle, Taza on Sigma, and lifting him up and ultimately winning that team fight. It's just amazing to see that. That was an amazingly timed Bob, and was something that I wasn't actually expecting to happen, but it was definitely worth it, and it definitely showed them that they can hold even at the darkest times.
And it also is fascinating, we are seeing a Junkrat come out from the side of Neptune, being that it is Pog.
Okay, I'm also seeing Orisa Reinhardt, which is very interesting.
It's a comp I've actually seen quite a bit. It can work, being that Reinhardt's more of the brawl style composition, but it can work really well actually, because while the Orisa barrier is down, Reinhardt can keep his shield up and Orisa will be popping out the damage, but during the brawl, the Orisa is doing that ranged support, making sure that the ranged characters aren't getting any damage in while the Reinhardt's just swinging away on the point.
Definitely, obviously the pull and the flame strike is obviously getting a lot of ult touch for the Rein also. They also accompany each other very, very well. Also more damage. Shield now become onto a kill on the Chaotic right there, meaning that now Neptune aren't looking good as the Rein does fall. That'll be the barrier coming up as well, meaning that means Ash has to pull back down. Bullet will get taken out, and Poggy will also get taken out by Godspeed, and that'll be Overhaul with kill on the Yixi, and Cambo will kill the Warrior Wolf. It's not looking good. Seattle just absolutely cleaning it up as a kill onto Crit comes out from Godspeed. Seattle looking very, very dominant right here, telling Neptune to play their game as Neptune does switch off the Reinhardt and onto Sigma.
And Godspeed definitely being one of the big players in this. Even when they're not focused on him, he's doing the damage. When they are focused on him,
definitely,
he's still getting in the damage.
Definitely, but Chaotic taking him out. The star player is gone. Could we see them start to do something? It's looking like, even though the star player is gone, they're still going to play. Seattle still playing. The Riptide comes out, and the Immo will also come out, and I'll be Camel's destroying it. Zaya look like he's going for a flank high noon. That'll be the Blades coming out, and there'll be Gord with 2 kills, and Overhaul killing up the Orisa, and there'll be another kill on the Yixi from Overhaul. Zaya with a kill, and there'll be a rock on the Chaotic on the Zaya, but however it's not enough, as Overhaul takes a kill onto Chaotic Wolf. Right now, it's not looking good. Seattle are absolutely dominating over Neptune. 3 ults, 5 ults from Seattle, it's not looking good. As this next fight does start to break out.
It just seems like anytime you're expecting Seattle not to make a big play, suddenly there's Grave popping in his blade.
Both Van Matrix come out, and I'll be also the Sigma ult, and I'll lift the other Sigma. That'll be Zaya with a kill, and I'll be it as there's a Sig 9 technically comes out. No one can touch the point as the C9 happens, and I'll be Seattle Senpais taking
map
Blizzard
number 2.
World.
So now it is 2-1 in favor of Seattle. Now, what do you think? Now that we've seen what Seattle is bringing to the table, we've seen exactly what Godspeed is able to do with the split of the game, that 5-man blade being that huge nuisance. What do you think that Neptune's going to have to do to overcome Seattle right now?
Okay, so the first thing I'd be looking at is realizing what they are doing, right? And then finding a weakness to that and exploiting that weakness. It's almost like if you were to fight someone in real life, if you noticed they were, for instance, if you noticed that they were limping on one foot, right, you would try and make them use that foot a little bit more so they become weaker, they become unstable, and they collapse. So I think the best approach for Neptune would be to try and expose a weakness of Seattle, and when exposing that weakness would mean something like a hard counter or something like that, or find someone who's their weakest link in that comp and exploit that and basically make that a big thing for them and essentially use that as their driving force to take out Seattle.
I see exactly what you're saying. They're really going to have to keep those driving forces out, and right now I feel like it's Godspeed and it's their supports. Seattle's supports are just keeping everybody alive. Those tanks are just being that body, whereas Godspeed's the one that's pumping in the damage and being that constant nuisance. And while he's doing that, you see the other DPS, I can't think of their name right now, but I will say it in just a second after I do this quick thing. But the other DPS of Zaya is just capitalizing off the confusion that the Genji's causing.
Definitely.
And
I can already tell that Neptune's calls are very much panicking over, oh God, Godly's in our backline, or Godly's in our team, quickly get him. So all the focus is coming into Godly, which means Godly, I know I call him Godly then, but Godspeed, to the point where the front line of the tanks are just getting so much value, stuff like Overhaul's just bursting damage into Neptune because they're too focused on trying to remove Zaya and Godspeed from their backline.
Yes, now we're just waiting to see, because somebody did leave from Neptune's side. So let's see who Combat wants to put in order to replace that DPS slot, because this is possibly going to be one thing that's going to change exactly how this game is going to go. If Seattle's going to end up walking away with the 3 wins right away, or could Neptune come back, possibly take up number 3, which I forgot to change, but it is Paris.
See, Paris. My map, I hate Paris with a burden. I find it so unfair. I feel, so essentially how I look at Paris is like all assault maps, and I think what they try to do with this map is they try to change the flow of assault maps, right? So usually assault maps, it's usually, the first point is usually to try and bring down as much time as you possibly can. It isn't meant to be held, right? It's supposed just to whittle down time as much as you possibly can. Then the second point is the hard hold, right? It's a point that the enemy don't have much reign of. It's very choky. It's very hard to push it. Now, when it comes to Paris, is the first point is very hard to push. There's so much spam damage coming in. There's not enough reign for you to exactly get enough ground. But the second point, there is so much ground for you to stand. There's so many places for you to go. And I feel like they try to switch it up, and it kind of ruins the feel of assault maps. I mean, assault maps have always been a problem within the game, really, if we really wanted to go into all that sort of stuff. Stuff like Hanamura, all that Watchpoint Gibraltar, they're not bad maps necessarily, they're just bad level design on the way on how it has to be pushed.
You see, I see Paris as different, because whenever I play on Paris, what I tend to notice is it's very hard for the defending team to hold first point, but then it extremely favors the defending team on point 2. I've lost so many games because point 2 is just so hard to push. Like, if you aren't really doing what you need to, and you're really snowballing, it's going to be a hard time. But we are seeing a swap. Combat is actually coming in for Yiggs, so we're changing up the supports a little bit. Xcrid might have just DC'd for a second, which, good thing it happened now.
I think Combat's Baptiste is actually really, really strong. And, I mean, Baptiste is just generally a strong hero due to his high amounts of damage. So, in addition to that, you essentially got 3 DPS coming in, and I think if we really want to talk about it, I think in that Blizzard World game, if Neptune had Combat in with that extra damage, I don't know. I feel like something would have gone better for them, especially with the Crid doing a lot of damage, Poggy Woggy were getting those picks, and then if Combat was melting down the shields as Baptiste, it could have gone slightly differently.
And we also see the tank lines swapping once again back to Ike and Death. So we've got these 2 powerful tanks back into this. And I don't know, because it looks like Warrior and Chaotic are actually doing pretty well at holding Seattle. They were able to push the payload pretty far and defend it for quite a while. I mean, there was a massive brawl going into that last point. So
I think Deathbound is a strong Orisa player, but I think he lacks the survival that someone like Warrior Wolf brings in. If you know what I mean, whenever the fight breaks out, Death isn't exactly surviving often, but he's often getting the kills. But someone like Warrior Wolf isn't necessarily getting the kills, maybe not necessarily getting those halts perfect, but is definitely surviving long as everyone else, if that makes any sense. Which, if the main tank dies, it's a problem. But I like the diversity that Neptune has got. The switching in and out of the 2 tank players in case those 2 players aren't feeling it. And it also means a fresh lineup's coming in, which means then Seattle have to think about changing up. So whenever Seattle have found a weakness in Neptune, immediately that weakness has been removed, because they have to think again about the other play and composition coming in.
and both teams are ready to go. So we are going into map number 3, Paris. Now let's see if Seattle is going to capitalize off these slight mistakes, and because we've been seeing that happening currently, is that Neptune's making these very small mistakes, and Seattle is just capitalizing.
Definitely. It's going to be interesting to see on exactly what happens here, but I have faith in Neptune. I'm really hoping that Neptune show us something that we are all hoping to see, and I'm hoping Neptune might actually take the next 2 maps, and we're hopefully going to see a map 5. Who knows? This could be redemption act for Neptune.
Could we possibly see Neptune with the reverse sweep coming in here? That would actually, I mean, this is only the 2nd game of our 3rd season, so anything is possible, really.
I'm not quite sure how the maps work. Is it if Seattle win this, do they automatically win? Like, or do we play them?
So
map still?
It goes by, I believe this season we are going by wins and then map differential for tiebreakers. So they will be playing 4 maps, with Lijiang being the tiebreaker if needed.
Okay, so even if Seattle take this,
even if Seattle takes this, we will see 1 more map. So Neptune can try and still take a map for differential, which means they would put themselves ahead of another team if they get completely 4-0'd.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, so like the bunker clump's coming out.
The Bastion. And we saw it yesterday too.
A dive comp coming out from Seattle now. Yeah, it would be Seattle. It'd be interesting to see how the dive comp fares against that Bastion. The slam coming in, and I'll be also the Winston leap. They're going to try and get rid of that Bastion as much as they possibly can, but the Immortal will come out and try and save them. But now, as Taz is in the backline getting constant fire in, I'll be the Immortal coming down, and I'll be Neptune coming in. I'll be Crib with a kill on the Taz. I'll be slowing down Seattle's push as they do touch the point. Bastion setting back up, they can't let that happen, but however they have nothing to try and take him out, and I'll be IQ with a kill onto Cal, but however he does kill himself from his primary fire, and Taz will get a kill onto Crid, and I'll be Polywogi with a kill on the Kazea, and I'll be another kill from Polywogi, and also the res, because we will get a kill on the Yiggsy, meaning there's no more reses from her. But however the res is already come for the jungler, so that means the damage is still there, and Godspeed now having to retreat with the Mercy to get out, as Neptune hard hold that first point.
And something I noticed is when the Hammond was first killed, he actually landed in a Junkrat trap, and that completely halted the momentum that Seattle was trying to start, because the Hammond was stopped right where he was, meaning that Neptune could have started setting up.
They're using all the ultimates right there. Crid gets taken out. Albize with a double kill onto Orisa and Bastion, and I'll be IQ with a kill onto Godspeed. But however, it's looking like Seattle might start pushing this as the IQs is all left on his own on the point right there. Neptune trying to boot him off. Calmods with a kill onto the combat, and Albize with a kill on the Yiggsy. IQ trying to hold the point as much as he possibly can for Neptune right here. It's not looking like it's gonna do much for them. As Seattle do push onto the point and do cap it with 5 minutes now to push the second point. That's a lot of time they have to use in their hands.
Some hero swaps coming out from Seattle, it looks like. It looks like we're going to see the Widow swap over to the Junkrat now. Now that's going to be some heavy damage. You're definitely going to start popping down these double shields. You're able to pop out so much damage with each nade. Looks like Seattle, though, is going to stick mainly with the same comp that they were running, using this dive composition, using that Hammond to push straight and get the idea of what Neptune is trying to do.
All they're trying to do right now is trying to push the Orisa off of that platform so that the Bastion has no more shields. And as soon as that happens, that means the Jungler can come in and kamikaze and pretty much get it. And there'll be a dive coming onto the Bastion, there'll be the Ant coming out, and there'll be Calmods with a kill on the combat, and Ghostbeam with a kill on the Crid. It's not looking good for Neptune right here. I see Seattle are just cleaning up. Polywogi we're going to kill on the Nature, and Zay we're going to kill on the Yiggsy, and Alfie Tazza we're kill on Polywogi, and Overhaul we're going to kill on to Deathbound. And albeit as Neptune lose the point and Seattle cap it with 4 minutes and 18 seconds on the clock.
And what really did that was the Hammond looked like, instead of actually trying to pop the Orisa off, because they knew they probably weren't going to be able to get the Orisa off there with everybody there. Instead, I think the Hammond was just trying to get some ult charge, start charging up those mines, and then as soon as the Winston jumped in, Hammond had his ults, so he popped those down, causing the amount of damage and allowing that Coalescence to really pop off. Even with that Baptiste window, the amplification matrix, it was not able to stop because Neptune already had Seattle right on top of them.
Definitely. I mean, that dive was well executed. You'd see the ball come in, the slam would come down, the Winston would dive in, all that damage was getting piled onto Neptune. That means the supports are then having to forefront, trying to heal their team as much as they possibly can. But then we have Godspeed coming in as the Widowmaker, just picking them off as they're struggling to hold on, trying to keep their team up, exposing themselves for a second as Godspeed utilizes that and use it against them. And that's
Definitely.
what ultimately led to the first point loss from Neptune.
It's definitely a lot of synergy coming out of Seattle right now. There's just so much is being utilized, and every small mistake that Neptune is making, Seattle is coming in and making sure that they abuse it.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's looking like Neptune are now going to be rocking with a Rhine and ball composition, trying to boop them off into the Rhine, and then the Rhine slamming.
That's most likely probably going to be the situation here. Ike's going to be using this Hammond to get some mobility on there, try and push people off and get them out of position. And then the Reinhardt will just capitalize off of that, swinging away, using the Fire Strike, even using his charge at time to make sure that those people die. But with this Junkrat on the enemy team, it's going to be hard because his trap can hold this Hammond's momentum so easily.
This Junkrat Sam on to the Reinhardt is also going to play a lot of pressure onto him. And that means the Hammond has to do his job as quick as he possibly can without dying. Now be it as Lubisa goes down. That could be very nice utilising of that is Neptune's time to strike as they come on through. That'll be overkill on the Ike. That will be one of Neptune's players dropping really early, which isn't good for them. Goldfield with a kill in the combat. That'll be it as Goldfield gets another kill in the Yiggsy. Both supports going down. It's looking like Neptune aren't going to be able to hold this as they are getting picked off. Goldfield getting another kill in the crit. There'll be overkill on Polywog, and Goldfield will also get a kill onto Deathbam. And that will mean that Neptune's attack has been slowed down, even with that boop onto Overhaul, meaning that they could have pushed in and utilised that to win and potentially cap the first point.
And that was quite possibly one of the biggest mistakes they made, is they started to push in, but they completely disregarded the Junkrat that was still right behind them as soon as they pushed in. And that Junkrat just started lobbing in those nades. It's a very tight hallway that they were pushing into, so Junkrat was hitting his shots.
That'll be a huge ult from Taza right there, getting combat, and there'll be also another slam, which means they get knocked up, and into that ultimate Taza, meaning that Neptune has to slow down their attack. That ult was huge value, especially because Hammond is very good at area denial. Getting that pick was extremely well for them. These halts and these slams coming in right now is building up Tazo incredibly quick, and it's looking like Seattle are about to get 6 ults online. 5 ults online, which will be good, and that'll be the Riptide coming out. That'll be the triple kill from Gorsby on the Crit Deathbound and Poggy Woggy. It's not looking good for Neptune as they're trying to gain as much gun as they possibly can. Zero have killed the Ike. This is not looking good for Neptune. They're really trying to hold on for everything they possibly got, and it's looking like Seattle even getting so cocky that the actual push-up and trying to get that dynamite, and that'll be this looking like the C9 will be trying to come up, however someone will come on the contest, as Yiggsy tries his hardest to try and get on that point. However, Goldsby will answer with a mine, and will put an end to Yiggsy, which means Neptune has to slow down. The Amp Matrix coming out, and that'll be the Reinhardt shield dropping, and that'll be over with a kill and a Deathband. And now it's not looking good as the Hulk comes in, trying to heal up. Combat just keeps on trying to heal as much as they possibly can. And I'll be Zero with a kill on the crit, and I'll be the Bob coming in. It's not looking good right here as Bob starts spamming damage into Neptune. And I'll be Tazo with a slam onto Yiggsy, and I'll be the kill. Zaya gets a kill on the Ike with Bob. And this isn't looking good for Neptune once again as they have to retreat and pull out from this fight. Diallo looking very, very confident right here, pushing the spawn.
And now we're coming into dangerous one-fight territory. There's 1 minute left onto this time bank, and they only have basically 2 points left, 2 pushes left before they lose this point. What they need to do is they need to start countering this Junkrat. He is putting in so much damage that Neptune just can't come back from that.
Definitely, the Yiggsy will kill the Godspeed. That's their star player gone. This is looking like huge value right here as they do push on the right side. They'll be critical with a kill on the Zaya. This could be it as Seattle popped their bongo, but that'll be the beat drop, and that'll be as Ike gets a kill on the cab mode and Taza jumps off the map. This is looking like Neptune will win. It's not looking like Seattle has anything to answer. Everyone gets a kill on the Overhaul, and that'll be Nature's getting taken out by Poggy Woggy. And that'll be the cat from Neptune.
The big thing we have to look at this. the big thing we have to look at this is Combat used his Coalescence at the end of that fight, which I feel like that was kind of a waste. You already had the Hammond jump off the edge, so there's only 2 left, and they're being heavily pushed onto by the Reinhardt. You don't need your Coalescence there, since you have everybody on the point already. Those 2 are not escaping.
Yeah, definitely. Now will be Taz coming in trying to get as much time as he possibly can. And a huge slam from Neptune. Now will be it as Neptune starts to enable after that huge slam. And that'll be the Riptire, however. And I'll be able to kill the Crit, slowing them down. And goes with a kill on the death on the CMBT. And now also be Taz will kill the Yiggsy. And I'll be Overhaul going to kill the Poggy Woggy. Meaning that Neptune's attack, even though started very, very early on, will be instantly stopped. That'll be huge value from Seattle. Playing extremely well right here, showing Neptune that they're playing their game, and Neptune and Seattle are not willing to play Neptune's game.
Godspeed definitely being one of those big players. He has his ultimate up fairly quickly, and just using those nades, popping in that damage. Like, I can't stress this enough. Junkrat's damage output in this game right now is so high that these supports are just unable to deal with it.
Definitely, and as they do start to touch a point, Neptune trying to get that advantage. Both players seeing damage. That'll be the bombs coming out from Seattle. That charge will come in and we'll get a Hammond. Alright, that bomb will get a kill on the Taz. This is looking like the advantage they need. Bombs coming out from Neptune as well, and I'll be Zay with a kill on the combat. It's even right now, tied up, and I'll be Overhaul with a kill on the Death Bomb. However, Poggy Woggy will answer with a kill on the Nature, and now be it Calmods gets a kill on the Yiggsy. It's looking very even right here, but Calmods does clean up with Zaya on the Poggy Woggy. Goes, we will clean up with a kill on the Crid, and now be it once again. As Neptune's push does get ended.
What was even rough is Neptune was kind of in a 5v6 at that moment, because Axgrid kind of got blocked out by those Hammond mines, so she couldn't get into the fight anymore. So, at that moment, everybody else is just able to collapse under the 5 people, and when you're in a 5v6, you know somebody's gonna have 2 people on them, and at that moment, you're not getting out of that fight.
Definitely. I love the spirit, though, from Neptune. Even though they are taking a bad beating, they're still pushing in. And I'll be good to be killing the Crid, which means Neptune have to slow down their attack and soft reset full Crid. They can't carry on going in. But however, Ike will still touch the point, even though he is 1 player down. Very ballsy move right there from Ike. Soft reset coming out from Neptune right here. They have to do that as they did lose one of their players very early on.
But they aren't pulling all the way back, which is a big thing that we have to look at. They know the Hammond has the mobility to get back if they need to, and even with them losing 1, that 1 person could make a big thing. So they decided not to pull. They have to
push in right here. There'll be also the Claw Resonance coming from Seattle. Do apologize to cut you off right there. There's Overhaul going to kill the Death Bomb. There'll be a huge bomb arrow. We'll get killed by Poggy Woggy, and now we'll get combat. And that'll be Crid with a kill on the Zaya as he does go for the High Noon, and that'll be Crid with the High Noon, and that'll be a double kill for Crid as he gets a kill on the Overhaul. Poggy Woggy now going to kill on the Nature, and Crid will clean up with a kill on the Taz. It's looking like Neptune might actually be able to push, so Cal does switch over to the Brigia. However, Crid will answer with a bullet into the head, and that'll be Cal. That'll be Zero kill on the Crids. That'll be McCree going down. That'll be Doomfist getting the pin off. That'll be Death Bomb going to pin onto Godspeed right there. Couple shots coming in as combat does res Crid, and I'll be Zaya with a kill on the Poggy Woggy. Only 1 DPS standing now from Neptune, but Crid will get a kill on the Zaya. And it's still looking good as now the Cal does knock down Death Bomb from the pin. Now be Crid with a kill on the Taz, and now also be Seattle's Bongos going down. Bombs coming out from Neptune, however, trying to hold this point as much as they possibly can, but Calmos will get a kill on the Crid, and I'll be Combat getting a kill. I'll be Calmos with a critical kill on the Crid's Combat and Death Bomb. The Slam will come in. I can try to hold the point as long as he can. I'll be Boogie going down. I'll be it. A Seattle take the 3rd map on Paris.
And Seattle, using those respawns to their greatest advantage, making the swaps that they needed to. They swapped over to the Doomfist, get that mobility into there, make sure the contested keep going, and as that fight keeps going, you know those respawns are going to start helping you out more and more. So, you just start charging for ults, and once you have ults, you can start making those pushes. The offense, Neptune, had no real chance to get back to the point in time, especially the longer that fight was going on. Now, we do see that Seattle will come away with the victory in this matchup, but we do have 1 more map to go to before the end of this match.
Very true. And let's just hope that Neptune can just get this last map, so that in future, if they do come across and they need this one extra win, it'll be there ready for them.
Absolutely. And now our next map will be Junkertown, our escort map for the season. Or not the season, for these 2 weeks. I actually really like Junkertown. I don't know how you feel about it.
I personally don't like Junkertown. I like it past the first bit. I think the first bit is just very, very... It's very, very one-sided in the sense that there's so much space for the attackers to build, but the defense have got so much space to patrol and try and watch over that it's just really, really hard for them to hold that area. And even when they do hold that area, it just comes down to just knowing the rotations of the enemy and just predicting them and then throwing that damage in that one area and just really utilizing those picks that they get.
Absolutely. Now let's see who is coming in for Neptune. As we do see, there is another person that left the lobby. I don't know if they are gone for good this time, or if it was, like X could happen, possibly a DC. So let's see if it's somebody's going to come in, possibly Warrior Wolf, or maybe even Chaotic, pairing up with Death Unbound, or they could put both of them back in, like we saw on Blizzard World. Which, this being an escort map, it's very possible.
Definitely. I mean, we did see Neptune be a little bit stronger on maps where there was a payload. So now that there's no point to capture, let's hope they might actually be able to turn this around for them. And I'm hoping that they do, because they could definitely turn this around and get this map, and at least say they didn't get completely wiped and they did get at least one map for themselves.
Absolutely.
It is possible.
Let's see what Neptune is going to do for their swaps. Now, I have seen this a lot in the past for last season, that teams at this point would start to get a little discouraged, and they just up and quit. Now, I don't think Neptune's going to do this. Neptune looks like they have too much spirit, and I believe they are actually enjoying this game. Even though they are losing, they are putting up a good fight, which is something that still needs to be said. Neptune isn't being demolished here.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Neptune is definitely still putting up a perfectly good fight on the Seattle, and even though it was looking rough for Neptune on the attack that last round, and Seattle were even pushing them to their spawn, they still... And most teams would have just gone, guys, we're actually getting steamrolled, and then just lose that courage. But instead, what Neptune did is they fought through that. They were like, okay, we know what we must do. Let's build our ultimates. They built those ultimates they needed and pushed in. And when they finally got that ground that they needed, they got the momentum, and they absolutely punched straight the way through Seattle, taking out their star player straight away. Godspeed immediately going down. And that just meant that they were ultimately set up for the push. And Neptune just taking that first point, coming into the next point. Crid absolutely popping off on the McCree, even taking out Zaya a couple of times, which was surprising, and ultimately set them up for that second point win. But however, I'm not quite sure who was actually on. Oh, it was Calmod on that Brigitte. Again, that triple kill really did mean that Neptune's lost that point, even though they did put up a very good fight. Seattle Senpais just pushing once again with that Brigitte was absolutely disgusting.
So, Neptune, major roster swap here. We actually see Combat and Bullet coming onto the DPS, where Xcrit and Pog are actually swapping to the support role. We do see Warrior and Chaotic, though, come back onto the tank, but major swaps when it comes to the DPS and the supports.
So, am I right in saying that what they pretty much just did is swap the DPS and the supports around?
So, they took Yiggs and Death out, Death being the tank, and Yiggs being the support, but yeah, they basically just swapped the DPS and the supports. So, those that that were playing support earlier are now our DPS, and vice versa.
I wonder if they're just doing this for fun, or if this is actually a genuine thing that they can do, if they're just flexible like this.
It might.
Interesting to see.
It could work, because it could cause enough confusion for Seattle that Neptune could just capitalize off of it.
Definitely. I mean, we did see Combat playing extremely well on the Baptiste, doing a lot of damage, so his DPS and his aim must be up there at least. I'm a little bit disappointed, though, because Crid, towards the end of that game, really looked like he was gaining his ground, definitely playing extremely well, and I was hoping to see him on this map just absolutely pop off on that McCree, but obviously on the DPS, he might, on the support, sorry, he might even play something like a Baptiste to pop off, though. It'll be interesting to see how the DPS players over the last 3 matches, obviously with give or take the switches in and out, will fare on a new role on support.
Absolutely. I mean, you were saying that Axcrid, maybe that they'll be a Baptiste, but I also foresee them maybe possibly even playing Zenyatta. I mean, we know that Zenyatta, in the right hands, can act as like a third DPS. So, it's quite possible that they might throw Axcrid onto the Zenyatta and just use that Harmony Orb to get the slight heals in while using Pog as that main healer, because I do believe Pog has placed in support, and it's one of his main roles. So, it could be very interesting what they're gonna do with this.
Definitely. Maybe there's some DPS player, maybe some DPS they want to bring out, like some certain roles they want on damage, but maybe Poggy Woggy and Crid just can't play him. So they swap them out. Maybe one might see as a Bastion comp, and maybe Crid or Poggy Woggy can't play Bastion, as well as someone like Combat or Bullet might be playing. Especially because this map is all about playing pirate ship. As we saw yesterday, both teams obviously bringing out the pirate ship from themselves. But it'll be a Pharah. Looking like the Pharah might be bait though by killing themselves. It's a pretty common thing that teams do. I don't really understand it though. Was on the Symmetra, will be switching over to the Junkrat. It's quite interesting. Zarya Hammond though for the tank lineup.
Actually, it's a pretty smart lineup. I was actually playing Zarya earlier today, and I had a Hammond, and using that Hammond actually, because the Hammond would push right into the enemy team, what it does is it gives Zarya basically a free charge.
Stop the game. Yeah, they want to stop the game for some reason.
Oh, hold on. What's going on?
No clue, but Warrior Wolf just said in the YouTube chat that she wants to stop.
Bullet and Combat can't play support, why not?
We do apologize to this, guys. We'll be back very, very shortly with this technical difficulty. Okay, surprise, wrong rolls.
Yeah. I just put it in the way you posted it. Okay, so it's like this.
I was okay. So Crid is going to be in the DPS. Oh, so the supports weren't supposed to be swapped around.
No.
Oh wow. Okay, that makes sense. You could just imagine the comms in Neptune right there, just absolutely screaming like, "What the hell are we gonna do?" We do apologize about that, guys. It was a miscommunication.
Yes, we do apologize. Listen, he just posted Warrior, Chaotic, me, Bullet, Axe, Kutagi, so I put it in that order!
I guess they just pretty much assumed that you knew the roles.
I don't know roles. I don't keep track of that.
There was us trying to do an extremely in-depth analysis on why they would have swapped the DPS and the supports to find out that wasn't even supposed to happen. But hey, it was a pretty interesting chat to have. So at the end of the day, that's completely fine.
So yeah, let's just see if we are ready to go now that everything is good. Okay, now we're good. Let's go back into Drunken Town. I know everything should be the same. I'm glad we got that before we got too far into it. Oh, man.
Yeah, definitely.
I
was actually interested to see how the DPS would fare on support, but there we go.
Okay, now let's see what Neptune's gonna do. So, Combat and Bullet will be playing as support, so I'm guessing we're probably gonna see Lucio, Mercy come out. That's my bet. We might see a pirate ship. It's possible.
I'm expecting it. This map is very, very notorious for its pirate ship. Obviously, with it being so open, the pirate ship has so much free reign. It's not a lot of cover for you to really take cover against the pirate ship. It just ultimately just steams through. That's why it's called pirate ship.
Actually, it doesn't look like we aren't gonna see pirate ship. Instead, we are gonna see Axcrid playing on this Widowmaker again.
Torbjorn coming out from Godspeed? That's an interesting pick, but it could work. Especially with the Molten Core ult. Can be very good for splitting up teams, doing a lot of damage. So, and also with the pull of the Orisa, could be extremely good right there.
Little Torbjorn dance here for all the viewers.
Sigma relaxing. Just chilling with the homies. Alright, let's get serious. Ryan Zarya coming up from Neptune.
Quite a bit of a brawl composition. Now, what that tells me is Neptune is gonna be very aggressive coming into these pushes, coming straight into their face.
Definitely, I'll be good for you to kill the Poggy Woggy. That will set Neptune up not very well. However, Seattle do have to drop down, which means that if Neptune soft reset, they could push in at this advantage. But however, Taz will get a kill on to combat. It's not looking very good right now for Neptune. I'll be good for you to kill the Poggy Woggy once again.
Axcrid actually swapping out of the Torbjorn here. Now, it interests me because it's possible you could see the Torbjorn be Torbjorn, but what happens is that it always becomes a turret brawl. Now, these turrets can pump out so much damage, but that's not really going to matter once that takes out the Torp turret from Neptune's side.
Definitely, the turret's going down, however. The multi-core coming out from Seattle, however. Poggy will get a kill on the Ghost Speed, now be Taz with a kill on the Chaotic. It's looking like it's even playing field right here, but however, obviously Neptune have that spawn advantage. However, they have to play back into the right, being pushed back by the amount of damage output from Seattle. Poggy Woggy, however, returning back, but it's not good as Cal gets a kill on the Poggy Woggy, meaning that his respawn will have to reset once again. Now Becamos with another kill on that Bullet right there. And it's not looking good for Neptune. Every time they get a bit of a ground, they have to lose it once again as the Ant Matrix comes out. Same with the Dragons. That'll be 3 ults wasted from Seattle, really thinking about it. Goes through a kill on the Crid with a hammer, and I'll be Zaya with a kill on the combat.
The hammer kill! You love seeing it!
Zaya with a double kill for Seattle. It's looking like Seattle are actually dominating this game against Neptune.
Torbjorn looking for another hammer kill.
A kill on the Chaotic. He's going in with this hammer, holding that left side down as hard as he possibly can. What the hell? What is he doing? He's an absolute madman with that hammer.
So Godspeed, what I think is actually doing right now is he's using his rivet gun just to get them blown up and then rushing them with the hammer.
Jeez, this is mad, but over 6 ults from Neptune. They might be able to use this to push finally through. That'll be Neptune with the Molten Core. How is Sigma eating a majority of it? How is some landing combat with a kill on a Godspeed right there? That will mean that Neptune can now push up, play aggressive. That'll be the Coalescence, and however, Seattle will answer with a beat. I mean, Neptune will answer with a beat as they do get lifted. That'll be also the grab coming out from Neptune. A lot of ults being wasted. Does go down Poggy Woggy with the high noon onto Calmos, and I'll be Crid with a kill on the Zeus. Looking like Seattle are actually going to fall right here as Taz does get finished off as well as Overhaul. That'll be Neptune with finally some ground. However, with 5 ults used, right out with his shot, however.
And now we see that I like to call this the mini pirate ship. with the Torbjorn turret instead of the Bastion because it's a little turret.
Definitely it's looking like Chaotic will get a kill onto Godspeed though. They are going to touch so Seattle with the dragons coming out, and that'll mean that Neptune have to spear out, and that'll be the huge slam onto the reset combat, getting the kill onto Overhaul.
That turret definitely pumping out the damage. Sigma trying to take care of it.
Kill onto Taza, Poggy Woggy with a kill on the Calmods, and I'll be KO'd with another kill onto Nature.
We do see this small pirate ship coming in, and that turret is definitely proving to be very effective. I was kind of iffy on Axcrit switching over to the Torbjorn on the offense, but it's actually paying off for them. That turret just pumping in that extra bit of damage is basically like an extra DPS on their side.
Definitely. The good thing about the turret being there is Zarya getting that charge. Because at the end of the day, the turret is stupid and doesn't realise that Zarya, if she pops a bubble, it'll actually give her some charge. So, very good. From there, right now, BK will playing very aggressive and get a kill to Zay, and Pong will get a kill on the Godspeed. That's their star player from Seattle down. That means that Neptune now have to use it against them and push Seattle, but Taz will get a kill on the Chaotic, which means Neptune have to slow down a little bit. Can't play too aggressive. That turret will be placed back on to the cart.
And we definitely see that Neptune being very aggressive. They don't want to stop the snowball.
Definitely. Neptune, I'll be Crib with a double kill, however. As the Maul quarters come out, Overhaul will get taken out. And now will be as Taz also gets a kill onto Crid, but Crid will also finish off. And I'll be Zaya in the backline getting a double kill. And I'll be a triple kill from Zaya, however, Warrior Wolf will answer back with the hammer. Now it's a massive rocket hand. However, Godspeed will get a kill onto Warrior Wolf. Taking out Chaotic right now.
And what I was
coming in with that hammer.
And what we were seeing is that turret.
Chaotic will get a kill onto Godspeed. This means that Neptune might actually have an open if they soft reset and they come in. Chaotic, however, again trapped up there. And albeit as Calmods does stagger Chaotic, which means now Neptune have to come back and regroup up.
And we did
Zay
see
will kill the Poggy Woggy, because they slow down even more.
And now we also see that it's really starting to set up, using that stabilize as a chance to start getting their ground back. Using this Sigma, he's handing off to the side. He's got his ultimate, so he's going to look for a massive flux. Possibly to combo with this Deadeye.
With the grab. That'll also be the beat coming out from Seattle, and Seattle with the double kill, which means now that Seattle can now stop pushing onto Neptune. Neptune with only 30 seconds left on the clock. They have to gain some kind of ground and get ready for the push. Godspeed with a hammer kill, and Zaya getting a kill on the Crid. And I'll be also coming with a kill on the Zaya. And I'll be also Seattle finish up with a kill in the combat. It's not looking good right now for Neptune. They've only got 20 seconds left on the clock. 3 ults online with the Torbjorn almost so close. However, Seattle don't have many ults coming online, so Neptune could take this with the ult gain that they have above them. But however, that'll be Godspeed with a nice, lovely bit of molten core coming in right there. That'll be the beat drop from Neptune, and then that'll be it as Neptune get a kill onto the Lucio of Seattle. That'll be Taz getting killed, but Zaya will also get a kill onto Crids. The reset behind with the Bongo will set up very good. Godspeed will get a kill onto Bullet. All the attention is behind, but Poggy Woggy will get a kill on the Zaya. And I'll be coming with a kill on the Godspeed. And I'll be Poggy Woggy clearing up with the kill onto Overhaul. Will they be able to push us to the second point? They have to be careful not to C9 here. Calmods coming in right now, going to be placing down the Immortality, trying to contest. However, Poggy Woggy takes him out before he can even do it. And albeit as Neptune pushes to the second point.
Neptune really able to push that. Now, what I noticed, Warrior Wolf getting into that push was really doing a lot of damage and getting those massive picks. That was what took out those tanks. And even though that Arisa was in the background, they weren't really too concerned. They had both tanks on her and keeping focus on her, while the DPS and the supports were making sure to keep those 2 tanks up, as well as taking anybody that was staggering in from the front.
Definitely. Even though the double shield, they are playing meta. The hyper aggression of Neptune is actually proving to be quite influential, and that'll be the somehow another will be found, and Zay will get killed in the combat. That'll be the barrier coming down, and I'll be all over the kill on the Warriors. The barrier does drop. Ult coming in, it's not looking good for Chaotic, and now as he goes to go down from Taza. 40 seconds left on the clock. Overhaul gonna kill on the Poggy Woggy, and it'll be Taza with a huge rock onto Bullet.
And now we see the Sigma coming up onto this high ground, getting ready to use this Graphitic Flux, possibly trying to cause the C9 once again. I mean,
That could be
Neptune
huge
only
right now.
has 20 seconds left, so they need to make their push now. We are in one-fight territory.
Definitely, that'll be the Sigma coming up, they'll be lifting the Rhine, and that'll be the beat up, however, to save them. That'll be the high nuke coming out from behind from Poggy Woggy, however, we will not find anyone. Overhaul with a kill to combat, and then Bullet with a kill onto Overhaul to return. And Nature will get a kill onto Poggy Woggy, but Camels will answer with a kill to Crit. Tazzle will get a kill onto Chaos, it means Cesario will drop for Neptune. Reinhardt all alone on the point, however, Tazza will do the finish off, and Tazza proving extremely well right here, showing he is the dominant one. And now will be a kill, as he gets a kill on the Bullet, Godspeed coming in, however, Poggy trying to touch as much as he possibly can. Genji trying to touch, and I'll be crit with a touch on the point. That's how it will take him down, there's so much damage coming out, and they'll be Zayef getting a kill on the crit, and albeit as Neptune try and grab, but however, do not do it quick enough, and that will be it, as Seattle stopped them on the second point through.
Now, something big that happened there was when that Sigma used his Gravitic Flux, he actually missed catching the Zarya and the Genji in that. So the Zarya and Genji were able to keep capitalizing and contesting this point. So after that Flux ended, the rest of the team was just there, meaning that fight could continue going on. And for a second, it looked like Neptune could have made the comeback, but Seattle just came back using that Sigma, that high damage output that he has, to really pump out the damage, and without those supports, able to get that healing in, Neptune just ended up falling in the end, or they had such a long spawn.
Definitely. I mean, I like Neptune's aggression, and they realized that how passive Seattle were playing, and they definitely used that against them. Definitely going back to what I said earlier about finding a weakness within Seattle and then exploiting that. Understanding that they're playing very, very passive, only going really aggressive when they have the advantage in the fight. So what Neptune did is they were like, okay, if you're not going to bring the fight to us, we'll bring the fight to you, and that's exactly what they did. Got the picks, saved up a lot of ults, slammed them all out at once, pushing that cart right the way through, and even to the third section of the map.
Very much so. Now we do see that Pog and Combat, they're on the pharmacy once again, and when we saw Blizzard World, and it actually worked really well, there was not much contestation on a Pharah. Axcrit this time being on the McCree instead of the Pharah. It's gonna change some things up, meaning that now Seattle has to expect something different. It's not the same person, so it's not gonna be the same playstyle.
Yeah, definitely, there'll be a huge ult coming out from Seattle. Seattle playing really aggressive with that Bragia, which we haven't seen yet. Goes through the kill on the Bullet, instantly off the bat with a melee attack. That'll be huge. For Seattle, they do start to push up right here, playing as aggressively as possibly can.
Got to be playing back on this Genji, possibly being that nuisance that they need once again. Torbjorn was working pretty well, but Genji immediately dashing in, using that deflect early on, but he's going to be taken out by Pog.
The Godspeed Basaya answering back with a kill on the Crids. Looking huge right here. However, Neptune not really gaining any ground as they do get a res, however, from combat onto Crids.
The great resurrection,
so
that's going to keep
right
this
now,
fight
no one
going.
really any ground. Poggy will go over, and there'll be Crid with another kill. There'll be a double kill coming out from Neptune. That'll be another kill from Crid. That'll be a triple kill from Crid. Meaning they have to push back, but Ghost people answer back with a kill onto Bullets. That'll be Genji in the backline. They have to be careful to try and remove him as fast as they possibly can. He's stalling though for as long as he possibly can. And now we will build up an ult, but we'll get taken ultimately out by Crid. Crid once again on that McCree is absolutely destroying the whole of Seattle right now. There'll be a huge anti from across the map. However, nothing capitalized off of it. Huge barrage, however, is answered by Zaya, shutting him down.
And what's interesting is Crit is actually trying to stay relatively out of sight lines, although the enemy McCree is able to come in and take her out. And then pop that Jedi. We see though.
That Bragia proving very, very well with a constant healing of herself. Now be the blade coming out. Godspeed will kill. Common will get a res on the Warrior Wolf, however, will get taken out by Godspeed. Cal with a kill onto Chaotic. As the ball comes out, Overhaul will get a kill on the Poggy Woggy. But it's not looking good for Neptune as Godspeed gets a kill on the Warrior Wolf. And I'll be Seattle pushing it to the first point. Now entering into the second part of the map.
And what was the biggest thing there is that early pick onto Axcrit. Axcrit had that Deadeye and was staying behind, trying to stay behind Seattle's defenses. staying out of their sight line so she could pop this Deadeye and get a massive pick. But Xayah knew where the Axe was and came around the other side and made sure to take her out, and then Seattle really started to push in then.
Nice trade right there as Godspeed gets killed with Crid. That'll be chaotic answering back, and the res on the Crid will mean that Seattle are one player down right here. The Neptune will pop the Gravitic Flux right there, and they'll get a kill on the Taz. That'll be the pull coming down, but chaotic with a double kill, and then Crid answering back with a kill onto the Arisa. That'll be a quad kill from Chaotic onto Seattle. That's absolutely huge for Neptune. Crid with a flashbang kill onto Godspeed also.
And Neptune, they only used one ult in that fight, taking full advantage of that Gravitic Flux, pushing everybody up, and then everyone just dealing as much damage as they can, pumping it in to that Sky, making sure that nobody's going to walk away alive.
Definitely, Pogwall kills a cow. That would be huge for them. Absolutely popping off right here. That'll be the Signal, however, and that'll also be the High Noon. Will it be able to pop it off? And that'll be combat falling from the High Noon. Pogwall will get a kill on the Xayah, and that will be another High Noon, but I will not find anyone. As Neptune do pop their ult, however, will not find anyone. Warrior Wolf will get a kill on the Taz. And it's looking like Neptune are actually fighting back as hard as they possibly can. Overall, we're going to kill on the Chaotic. That'll be the Sigma trades coming in.
The C9!
But those will get a kill on the Crit. I feel like the C9 will actually commence. However, they're trying to hold as much as they possibly can, as Nature just got a kill on the Bullet. Overhaul will get a kill on the Warrior Wolf. And albeit Pokemon tries to hold it as much as possibly can, and we get slipped by the honor of Seattle. Xayah getting a kill on the combat, and that will be entering into the third part of the map as Seattle do push it to the second point.
And they do not... Seattle definitely doesn't have very far to push this payload left. They only have to get just to the first staircase. So, what Seattle just needs to do is they need to play aggressively. Dragonblade coming in!
That'll be one kill, however, it will be answered by Crid, and albeit it's Chaotic gets a kill on the account, and that'll be Taz on the kill on the Chaotic, and Crid getting the kill on the Overhaul. It's an all-out bull right here as Crid gets a kill, and that'll be the huge res coming on to Chaotic right there. Xayah will fall to... will get a kill onto Crid. Right now, as it's so close for Seattle. Neptune, however, holding it very, very well. As Combat actually does get a kill on the Xayah. Stigma now in the back line. Seattle trying to stay in that back line, try not to die.
No, what's fascinating is in the course of that fight, Neptune actually ended up in the position as if they were on the offense. So
that
they
will
put
be
the
Neptune's
payload...
ult coming in, that'll be a kill. Chaotic gets a kill on the Taz, Xayah, however, answering onto Chaotic. That'll be the res, however, onto Chaotic, and Bullet getting a kill on the Overhaul.
Neptune
That'll be a
making
switch on the
massive
Bastion
combat
from
here.
Godspeed. Oh, we'll get taken out by Crid. Chaotic will kill the Nature, that will slow Seattle down. Could this be potentially a hold? However, the Sigma ult will come in right now, and that'll be the High Noon as a double kill comes out from Crid onto Seattle. Looking very good. Crid's definitely standing his ground right here. Neptune proving that they're not as bad as they were these first three maps. Definitely showing that they can hold their own against Seattle. It's a shame it didn't come out as early on in the match still, and I'll be Godspeed with a kill on the Crid, and I'll be the res, however, coming in as Godspeed just gets taken out by Bullet. Godspeed keep on going for that flank behind. That'll be the pull, that'll be a huge pull, as now Taz is getting thinged, but however, that'll be a huge kill from Poggy Woggy, who's about to pop his ult on Junkrat onto Nature Wolf, and that'll be Xayah getting the kill on the Poggy Woggy. All players antied, however, and I'll be Crid getting the kill on the Xayah, slowing down their push.
And what the big thing is right now is Axcrit is being that major player right now, taking up that space, making sure that nobody is getting any room, making sure to keep these sight lines under control, watching everywhere they're coming from.
Definitely, it's proven that Neptune could have actually been playing this good earlier on, and it's a little bit of a shame it's only just come out now, but out of the bunker coming out, they're trying to stall up in that top right area. Sigma, however, playing it behind. Will they realise this and try and utilise him? That'll be Neptune with a kill on the Poggy Woggy, as Neptune do pop their Bongo, however, it's not enough, as they're going to take it down from Overhaul, Godspeed, and there'll be a beat trying to come out from Neptune, however, will not land, and they're looking like Seattle might actually push this, as Neptune do go for a right side ultimate on McCree, however, it's not enough. And now BS Overwatch gets a kill on the Crid, and Cal will get a kill on to Warrior Wolf. Barrow probably will answer a kill on the Neptune, but they will get a double kill for Seattle. And it's looking like Seattle will be able to take this map as no one from Neptune could touch, and that'll be Seattle with a 4-0 on to Neptune.
Such well played from Neptune. What happened there is Axford tried to go for a flank, and what that did is it caused the fight to go into a 5v6, and Seattle realized this, and they immediately pushed straight onto that point and started fighting. Now Axford's starting to come back, but the damage is already done. People are already dying, because there's Axford that appears now, and they've already lost 3 people. So Axford's got to try and use that Deadeye, but they knew where she was. So they threw that shield up, blocked that Deadeye out, and made sure the McCree fell. And that's really what caused them to win that match.
Definitely. I mean, amazing plays from Neptune. We've got to give it to them. In all else prevails. I mean, even getting demoralized by Godspeed with the Torbjorn hammer, keeping hitting you, they still fought through it, and they still put one hell of a fight, and even showing Seattle that they could have held them extremely well earlier on. Even though it was a loss for Neptune, it was an ultimate loss, as they did provide a fight against Seattle.
Alright, before we go though, we have to do something very important, and that is pick our MVPs, one from each team. Now, who would you nominate as the MVPs?
Okay, so from Seattle, I'd definitely say Godspeed, actually person working. But I will say this, that some noticeable people I definitely do want to bring up is Zaya did extremely well as well, Overhaul doing extremely well as well, and Taza also doing extremely well from Suicide, but Godspeed just annihilating the backline completely from in Seattle favor, and ultimately set up very, very good rounds for Seattle as they did come in. But however, from Neptune, I would definitely say that Crid did extremely well, and I definitely give the MVP from Neptune to Crid.
I would have to agree with you on those. Godspeed especially, being that major DPS presence, popping out so much damage. We saw him on that Genji so often, and it was always used to its full effect. And then Axford, especially on that last map, being a massive presence. I mean, Seattle won because Axford left. So,
definitely.
I have to agree that our MVPs are definitely Godspeed and Axford. So congratulations to you two. Congratulations to Seattle on your 4-0 win. Thank you, Sake, for joining me today.
I'm more than happy to. Thank you for having me on.
Well, hopefully we'll see you again in the near future commentating a few more games for us.
Definitely.
And with that, I'll have to say goodbye to everybody. I hope to see you guys again next time.